back to the Berg Podcast. Thanks for joining us today. With me today is Dan.
Hey, everybody.
And Beth.
Hello.
So Beth's our special guest today. Beth is from Revive. And Beth, just give us like the 30-second elevator pitch. Who is Beth?
Yeah, so Beth McGannon. I am a senior customer success manager with Revive. And what I do is I work hands-on with the groups, help them get some education out there, and help members with any issues.
I think we've been, Dan, pretty vocal on the podcast at times about our struggles with healthcare, the healthcare industry in general.
Yes.
And usually it's specifically around our healthcare renewals.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's always a problem, and it's we talk about that Christmas comes every year.
Yeah.
The insurance renewal comes every year.
Yeah.
And every year is worse than the last year. And we don't seem to be able to do anything to really alter that trajectory. And our size doesn't put us in a position where that could, potentially alter the trajectory. So we've looked at a bunch of different options and continue to look at other options that would offer us a better chance. But this sort of came from internally from our broker as we continue to just pressure. I mean, the reality is Brian goes out and tries to get the best deal he possibly can out of a bunch of bad choices. And then I kick and scream because it makes me mad. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. There has to be a better option. And I think at some point, the broker, said, hey, well, have you thought of this option? Yeah. And you brought it to me, and we still don't 100% understand it. I've heard it 5 times from Beth.
We'll get there.
I understand how it's going to work. I just don't understand how in the insurance landscape and the pharmaceutical landscape it's possible.
Sure.
Because it does seem like it should. It seems reasonable, which makes me think that it's not going to work somehow. But
in a world of unreasonable choices, it
yes.
does seem like a reasonable option.
It does. So we ended up at this spot, and you brought it back to the group, and we said, yeah, let's try and give it a shot, and decided that we would absorb the cost to try and do it and see if it would actually have an impact.
Yeah. So Ethan with Assured Partners is our connection to Beth, and Revive is obviously not just a Berg construction thing or a product that's only available to us. But we kind of pounded Ethan and just said, like, we've got to find some solutions because the number just goes up every year, and it's actuarially driven, which, means we're using the plan, we're using the program, the dollars make sense. It's not the plan that's the problem. It's probably a broader issue with the cost of healthcare in general, but we can't really control that. So what are the things that we can control? And we looked at a bunch of options, right? And, and not Ethan specifically, but the carrier wants to sell us on things like, oh, you should use Teladoc because it's cheaper to use Teladoc. Or you should look at, the carrier doesn't like this, but they're like, you should part out your RX plan and pay specifically just for RX. And none of those things seem to make sense for our group, because they just didn't provide consistency of care, quality of care, or ease of use. And that's got to be like the trigger, especially for our demographic. I think you've got to have something that's relatively easy to use and something that they perceive to add value. And that's kind of where Revive has stepped in for us.
100%. So our goal with all of our groups is affordable and easy access to healthcare. And I think we absolutely hit it on the nail, is that members receive this benefit. It's in one single platform. They can access the prescription, the primary care, urgent care. It's really, really easy to use for the members. But then the employers are using a flat PEPM, so a flat per employee per month fee. So it's predictable cost for the group. And it's really easy to look forward into the next year to see exactly what you're going to be paying for this supplemental benefit that's going to take care of the members.
Yeah, and that's really what we appeal to us, right? Consistent, predictable pricing, knowing what we're getting, and then and truthfully, like looking for a way to enhance our plan. So the hard thing for our employees every year is, we keep looking for ways to say, I promise we're really trying hard to control the cost and provide a quality product, but it's going to cost more. And they're like, well, did I get anything more? And so this was one way we thought we could do more. As an employer, we could do more. And, it is not wholly altruistic on our behalf. We think that there is the potential, if our folks find value in it and use the plan, to actually save us some money on the back end for dollars that don't flow through our stop loss or don't flow through our carrier. So
yeah, and then looking at it from the members' perspective, I love it. I get to be the face of Revive. I get to go meet with the members and tell them about this package, saying your employer is giving this to you, so you have all these benefits completely free of charge and done virtually. So really easy to access, and it's great. I get a lot of like, well, what's the catch? Why shouldn't we use this? What's going to happen if we try it? You get a lot of what ifs.
Sure.
And it's really exciting to see the feedback from the members. Yep, I went in, I used the urgent care. It was really easy. I met with a doctor in 10 minutes. They prescribed the medication and I didn't miss a day of work.
Yeah.
It's really fantastic to see that feedback, see all the savings from the members, and then later down the road, hear all the savings with the groups on top of that.
For sure.
So it's a win-win.
And Revive as a platform offers kind of a comprehensive approach to a little bit of a non-traditional way to access healthcare, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it started way back in 2008 as a telemedicine. It was actually a physician group that started Revive, again, trying to find an affordable, easy to access platform for members to use. And then it really evolved into this whole person treatment along with the primary care, the mental health, and then the prescription services. Yep. So we're really trying to get all aspects of care and really easy for the member to access.
One of the things that I think makes it a struggle for us with Revive, me personally, with Revive, but it speaks to our demographic, is I'm not going to use Revive unless I need Revive, right? In the same scenario that I should knock on wood somewhere, but like I haven't been to urgent care. During COVID, I think something happened and I had to go. I thought I might have broken my leg, but I did something stupid, and it wasn't broken. And so I went. That's in the last decade. That's probably the only time I've been at urgent care. Like I wouldn't go to urgent care because I generally figure I'm okay, right? So it is tricky for me and our demographic to work through. Will Revive work? Because we don't actively use the plan until you need the plan. Right. And so that's going to be the interesting part is what I don't want to do is just say like, hey, let's set up a visit, right? Or I'm not going to call urgent care to practice to see if this works. Right?
You can if you want.
I know, but I'm not going to. So it's just not how our demographic works. It's going to have to be something for me to deal with it. So it's going to be, that's the interesting part here is, we've only had a few people, Scott used it, Anthony used it. I've heard of a few people coming back and saying it worked exactly the way they said it was going to work. So we know that it can work, but that's the interesting thing. And one of the most frustrating parts about our insurance policy is that by and large, we don't use it, right? But actuarially, we do because something goes wrong, right? Like the things that have happened have been, I don't want to say catastrophic, but from a dollar standpoint, catastrophic. Sure. And then you get hit with these huge actuarial costs. And I think that's the part that probably bothers Brian and I the most is that it's not like I feel like there are certain industries that you would be much more likely to see habitual use of the doctor, where every month they go to the doctor and then they're on 40 prescriptions, and it's a certain demographic that will, you can, what is it, office at Berg? No, what is it, info? What's the email address when you can email to complain about
info at Berg, yeah.
Info at Berg. But I feel like we're not that, right? Like our problem isn't overuse of our plan. It's it going actuarially being impacted. But I think that this can still have a big impact because of the urgent care offset and the pharmaceutical impact with some of. So we definitely think it can work, but I'm eager to see it work. I just don't know how quickly it can kick in because of how we demographically use.
Well, I think one of the pieces that so far has really appealed to our folks and the handful that have used it and used it successfully. I think one thing that we miss sometimes is like your wife, given your relationship, my wife, given our relationship, she's not going to allow our family to not have a primary care physician, right? Mm-hmm. Our kids go somewhere, which means we go somewhere, and all of those things. But I think one of the things we miss is like that's not everyone's story. A lot of our folks don't have a primary care physician. They haven't seen somebody in 15 or 20 years because they had no real need to. And so they don't know where to go or who to go to if something comes up. And the ease of access to folks who are real doctors, not Teladoc.
No.
And that's not to knock Teladoc, but
Yeah.
in other words, these are actual.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to jump in here just because I think it's important to qualify it. We're not putting down Teladoc, but what we're saying is from the 3 times that I've heard Beth talk about it, is I could pick the same doctor.
Yes.
Right. So I could get this. This is not just a random call who's available. You could do that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But you can establish that Dr. Smith is who you're going to talk to and talk to him at whatever frequency you deem reasonable for nothing.
Yeah.
I will go as far as to say that I will put down Teladoc. I have used Teladoc in the
Okay,
past.
if we're going to go there, I mean, I hate Teladoc. It doesn't work. You
I love
call
it, man.
in-
Keep going.
I mean, you call, the number of times that I've come in and just railed on Brian and be like, I tried to use the stupid Teladoc thing, not for Revive, pre-Revive. And I called in and I knew that the girls had an ear infection. I already knew that. Yeah. All I needed you to do was identify it was an ear infection, accept that, and write the prescription. And you say, you're going to need to go to your physician, which now I just paid $45 so that I could go pay the full price of $100 so that I could get the prescription that I don't even need. I could write the thing myself if I was allowed. I know what this is.
Most people that call in, they know
Yeah.
the problem. We
Yeah.
hear that so much of the time. Our doctors, they're U.S. board certified. They've been doing this for at least 10 years, but different than the Teladoc type facilities that you're used to calling in, our doctors only contract through us. They've been doing this a very long time. They know what they're doing. They're not those what we call like the Uber telehealth doctors that are bumping around to different, virtual companies. They're in our network. They get how to treat the people. They're not going to just bump you to an emergency room. They're not going to bump you to a brick and mortar urgent care and waste your day or a copayment. They're really going to try to help solve the problem there.
Well, and I think the other interesting thing here, and this is the piece that I'm still missing, right? The piece of Revive that I'm still missing is where the money gets made, because there's so much profit in. I mean, just go ahead and check the balance sheets of the insurance companies and the pharmaceuticals, and you'll find exactly where the money is. But the thing that I still miss, but I accept that it's what they're doing, is Revive doctors want to keep everything within Revive, right? Like, so from a business standpoint, like I would rather you not have to go to, Mooschlitz to do something that I could do. I would rather just do it. If there's any way that we can do the work, and I love Steven, but like we try and keep everything in house. I'm not, if you call me and say, hey, can you dig a basement? I'm not going to say, well, you should call Bob, right? Like, I'm going to say like, yes, I could. Can you do this? Absolutely. How long have we talked about? Like, can we do it? Yes, we can. We'll figure out how after the fact. And so Revive wants to keep everything in-house. So the idea that they would say, oh, well, you're going to have to go see another doctor, they took the money out of their pocket. Now, I don't know where the money came from, but that's the part I'm missing. But so I think that's important to understand. There is no incentive for them to send you to the urgent care because that wouldn't help them. If anything, if it was really an urgent situation, I assume there'd be a way that they would either themselves deal with it as an urgent situation, even if it was a
100%.
primary care.
They can write referrals, they can send labs, they can send orders.
So they could do
necessary.
everything from that primary. Yeah. So I think that's the thing that we really have to acknowledge is different with how Teladoc works versus how this system appears to be set up and run. And, but we need the team to embrace it. I don't need you. I want to be very clear. I'm not saying everyone go to the doctor once a month. I'm not trying to encourage you to see the doctor more, but some of the rules that I love that show up on my thing are, there's a construction one, and the guy gets into the doctor and he says, when was your last visit? And he says, like 1983 when he was like 17 years old. And then he goes through
sports physical in high school.
Right. And he goes through like all of the things, and the doctor like said, you should be dead right now. Like, I don't even understand. But that is to a point our demographic. You know what I mean? Is that's, you and Brian and I see the doctor more, but it's because of a very specific plan that we both have. With Morgantown Family, with Dr. Donaldson. So there's regularity to it. Left without that, we both know we wouldn't go to the doctor.
Sure, that's true.
Like I'd be there when Erin absolutely forced me to go for something.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people avoid seeing a doctor. They don't have an established primary care doctor yet, or they don't have the time. They're not going to skip a full day of work to sit in an office for an hour to wait for a 15-minute appointment and then have a copayment. This is a really great solution for people like that. Maybe you're not seeing the claims quite yet just because they've been avoiding taking care of themselves. And now later on, they're going to miss work, be sick for a period of time, not get taken care of their mental health treatment. And this is a great chance for them to get back into that care.
Well, and that's a great point too, is the maintenance side of it, right? Is that if you're not going to take off, because take off of work is a great example, but also, we all have, Brian's kids are a little bit older now, mine are still younger, but there's nothing worse than when you go to the pediatrician or any, and then first you sit in the lobby and wait to be in the room, and then they lock you in the room. And now the kids are going to tear. I mean, my girls are going to. They're going to tear the building's coming down. Every piece of.
I have 3 boys.
Yeah,
that's my life.
So I mean, the girls will. They will have. You leave a stethoscope, they will have it.
Yeah.
They're going to have the ear thing out. They're going to. So and you feel like you're.
My boys were like escape artists, so like they weren't tearing the room apart. They were trying to figure out how to leave the room.
No, the girls.
There was a time when I was at work. I got a call from my wife, and this is kind of a funny story. And my oldest, Gavin, who was very young at the time, literally left the doctor's office, and my dad was arriving for an appointment and like captured him in the parking lot as my wife was trying to scramble to keep the other two under control. So
that's different. My girls, it was destroy the room. Their favorite was the paper that goes over the. They would just start running around the room with it, and the paper they would use an entire roll. And so it got to be the point. The pediatrician, I'd be like, listen, do not put us in that office until you are ready to see us. Like, I don't need like a holding room to go to a holding room that you're just trying to make me feel better about it. When the doctor's ready, put us in there, and they'd be like, okay. And I'd control the girls for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, I'd just be like, I'm just going to sit here. And then the doctor would walk in and be like, what happened? I'd be like, I don't know. You locked him in a room for 20 minutes. This is what you got now. Look at this. It's a mess in here. You're just going to have to.
But aren't you glad you're missing work for that?
And you missed work. So that I could get drops for an ear infection I already knew we had.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks ago that happened to me. My youngest guy, we thought he had strep throat. And I'm thinking, it's Sunday night. It's 8 p.m. What do? Urgent care is closed. Emergency room, I'm not doing that option for a sore throat. No. Do I take off work the next day? Is he going to miss school? Called urgent care, 8 minutes. They called back on a Sunday night at 8 p.m. at night, walked through symptoms, fever, looked down his throat. Do you see spots? What do you see? How's he feeling? Probably 15-minute call for me to find out it wasn't strep throat. And I'm like, that's great. Literally within 24 hours, he was perfectly fine. The doctor was spot on, and I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to go to the pediatrician, miss work, miss school. It was so easy, and it was free.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that Ethan and I talked through, Ethan at Assured Partners, when he started to propose this idea was that I was like, Ethan, I don't need a solution where I'm going to call a guy on a Saturday evening who's out to dinner with his wife, and he's going to tell me, dude, I can't help you, but charge me $45 and go see your doctor on Monday. Because on Monday when I call my doctor, he's going to say, sure, I can see you in 2 weeks. They're busy too. So I really do love the variety of options that Revive provides. Like you have the traditional urgent care.
Yes.
I can call in, I can talk to a doctor in a relatively quick period of time. It's the same doctors who provide the care in the normal, like PCP type style, doctor visit. So you make an appointment with a doctor, you can see what their normal areas of practice are before you talk to them. And then they're going to help you. If you needed a prescription right away, here's your prescription. Take your discount card, go to the pharmacy. But if you can run it through the system, if it's something you're going to take long term, like they're going to help you find a solution for that too. So I was like a little bit of like a skeptic. All right,
everybody is. That's okay.
Yeah. When Ethan was like, this solution's going to be great. And I was like, Ethan, I swear, if this is Teladoc.
You really don't.
Yeah, no, we're not fine.
That's a buzzword today, I think.
It is. It's a trigger for sure.
Another thing that they have that I did use already was the platform is easy to use.
Yes.
Right. It's very user-friendly. It's very simple. But it had the price comparison on things
the pharmaceutical. Yes.
Right.
So I was able to just punch in the name and look at it and see what would happen, not what would happen, where was the best choice?
Where could you go?
Where could I go? And I know Erin does that already. There's a couple medicines and she uses Good Health. I think you can do it somehow, but it's not as easy as I'm not knocking Good Health system. Revive system being all in one place made it pretty simple.
I love it. You just go right in the member portal. You see the different tiles. Am I doing primary care? Am I looking at prescriptions today? Just click on the tile. It walks you through the whole process. Search a medication. If it's included, we'll walk you through how to get that prescription transferred. If it's not included, I love this because I'm such like a coupon clipper shopper around, but it will tell you, here's all my local pharmacies. Here's the cost out of pocket with a savings card. So you can do it all from home. You
Yep.
don't have to make several different phone calls,
Yep.
go
Right.
through the
And that's
stress of Googling
yes.
all the different pharmacies around me. It does all the work for you.
Right. And that's what Erin would go through and do that.
Yes.
And then I said to her that we were talking about, I don't remember what medication it was. And I did it, and it was 120 at one place, 90 at another, 40, and then
Isn't
7.
that shocking?
And then 7. I
I
was like,
know.
all right, now here we, and this is when Brian and I, we don't have enough time to go down this road. But okay, that's you know what I mean? That when you go out to bid in our industry, you could get a crazy outlier number from somebody that misses something. But the reality is, if you get 8 bidders, they should all be within 10 to 15% of each other. And probably 3 to 4 of them will be within 1%, 2% of each other, because the work is the work. It is what it is. There's mild differences in what our cost structure is, our overhead. But the pharmaceutical drives me nuts, because how can a medicine cost 120 and
It's
7?
shocking.
It doesn't.
I do it just for fun. I just search
well, I
random
don't do it for
prescriptions
fun.
and I'm like, what does this cost? And what is this? And, wow, that's really high.
I would
What's
do it
going
to
on with
make
that
me angry,
pharmacy?
We have a different version of fun, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm such a saver, so it's really exciting.
yeah,
See,
that's
that's so funny how she approaches it, and I guess it's how one of the ways you can be in this industry is, would you look at that as savings? If I said that you could get something at 4 places, it was 120, 90, 70, or 7, would you look at it as a
that's true.
savings, or would you be mad that they were overcharging?
So I
True.
am mostly angry about
Yes.
the fact that one person would try to charge me so much
Yeah.
more. But I actually I never even considered this as an option prior to being shown this, because I always was like, I mean, and maybe everyone does this. Maybe it's just me. But the doctor would be like, "Where do you want your prescription sent?" And I'm just like, "The closest place to my house."
Yes.
Send it to CVS or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I never knew that there was such a thing as price shopping prescriptions.
Neither did I.
Because
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the markup, the middleman, the pricing, it's incredible
Well, and the
what
variable
they can
of it.
charge.
Because on one, CVS could be the cheapest, and then on the other, they're the most expensive. There's no consistency.
Right.
So you'd have to. So the ease of that system. One of the points I'm making is, even if you went to your physician, you can use Revive
100%.
as the medicine source.
Yeah.
But even if you were still not going to do that, you could quickly in the doctor's office pull it up, put in the prescription that he's going to write, and then say, "I want you to send it to this pharmacy."
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And save yourself,
Send it to
10, 50,
Wegmans
$100
instead of CVS or
Right.
CVS, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Or hopefully covered with Revive, so you
Right.
get it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love, because the formulary is huge. It's over 1,000 prescriptions at this point. And I always tell people, and I'm going to give a disclaimer here, even if you're not on a prescription, check it out. We have women's health, men's health, supplements, vitamins, allergy meds. I mean, my husband was taking vitamin D, magnesium, and allergy med. We were paying $40, $50 out of pocket a month just for over-the-counter meds. And now we got a prescription. And we get it for free, shipped to our house every 90 days. So think outside the box. Just don't look at
You just have to
prescriptions
change
that you're already
it.
on.
It's a behavioral change
Yeah.
that we're going to have to try and.
It sounds like an atomic habit.
It does
I
sound like an
know.
atomic habit. Yeah,
And it's the what if. People are like, are you sure? Is it real? Are they going to remember to send me my prescription? Is it going to be covered? But once you get in there, and it's really word of mouth, once people start using it, they can tell other people, it really did work. It really was that easy. It really did save me a ton of money. I had somebody recently, they saved $700 a month in prescriptions because her son had a seizure disorder. And they were buying all that out of pocket. I mean, she could not believe it. It really was one of those moments like, is this real?
Yeah.
Can I really save this amount of money? It's
Yeah,
incredible.
I honestly don't have any concerns about the formulary, about the will they deliver it. My thing is still just at the end of the day, if we could just fast forward to our next renewal, and you walk in the door and say yep, it's exactly the same. Be like, it's all right. I don't even.
Don't worry. I'll start sending you reports of your savings. I'll show you your
it's not the
redirection of
savings.
care.
That's what I'm saying. It's that I operate everything I operate
Okay.
on, and Brian and I's interactions always. Everything I operate on is it. So it's funny from a work standpoint. I'm always money in and your money out. But when we're looking at what something costs, both of us turn to the same exact thing, which I want to see it like. So in other words, for me, it's I want to see next year's renewal and it be the same as this year's. I acknowledge that with their guys, it's going to save everybody money. And I acknowledge it's a great benefit. We wouldn't have done it had we not thought that it was. I believe it will be, and I believe they'll use it. I just want to see the renewal and be like, okay, so somebody has developed some reasonable version of healthcare now. You know what I mean? And then for us, I think the play then will be to look at our own healthcare plan and say, okay, so what do we do? If we're really able to use this, then how can we alter our health plan to make it better or more effective for the team, being that we have this other piece?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So.
Yeah.
You have the two biggest skeptics in the room.
I know. All right. I like a good goal. That's fine. We'll get Ethan in here also.
Yeah. Next time we'll have Ethan.
No, it's really exciting.
That might be too much, Brian. I'm not nearly as happy about capital as I am Revive. Capital,
you are not the first person to doubt. It's perfectly fine.
It's not a capital. It's not an Ethan thing, but it's a structural problem with their product.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, no, the Revive plan though, and just seeing even in the short time we've been using it, some of the success stories, I mean, I think it can be impactful. And I do think it is kind of like what you mentioned a second ago, Beth, like the word of mouth is important. I think people telling people it works in our demographic and amongst our groups, they're tight knit, they work with each other in the mud every day.
Yes.
Like them knowing that something works is meaningful to their teammates. And so I think that's going to be the important part is like witnessing that it works, buying in a little bit, and then other people hearing about it and utilizing it.
You know where I think you could get real traction is, and like I'm not going to set it up, but is if like somebody did it on lunch. You know what I mean? Like a day when we're just you're working, something happens. Not urgent care. Well, it could be urgent care, but not like an urgent care issue. But it could be like allergies, right? That like I'm like all of a sudden this guy can't breathe, and he like calls. They call him back in 4 minutes. They write the prescription. The prescription's sitting at the pharmacy for free when he gets off of work. Like if that sort of thing happens, that's going to spread like wildfire. Yeah. Then they'll be like, okay, you're not going to believe what just happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's sort of, and so I think like that's where we could really start to see big gains.
Yeah.
Is if guys can see it work, not just hear it work, but sort of almost see it work.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I personally have seen it work already. I had a prescription. I moved. It's saving me money every month. It was a 90-day renewal, so it's saving me money every quarter. But yeah, I mean, it was like one of those things that I just kept doing, like because it was the way I always did.
Yeah, I have to do it. I literally have an email in my draft to go to Donaldson to say move these two medicines over, and I just didn't send it.
Yeah. I know. And then you don't realize how much time you're saving just with my local pharmacy. I'm a local little town in PA. They take a lunch break, the pharmacy. They close early on a Sunday. Those are all the times when I want to pick up my prescription. And I didn't realize the hassle of doing that and how much time I was wasting, going back again and again to get their actual business hours, pick up the prescription. So I think it is going to be that first person like, oh, this was really easy.
Yeah. I mean, literally, my my refill came up and I don't get it sent to me. I don't know why, because Donaldson didn't do it that way. Right. So I just left it where it was. So I'm still in I'll go. And they were like, you have one more day to pick it up. And I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'll go in and argue with you about it that you got to reissue the prescription. You know what I mean? Like that's where we're going to be now because it wasn't convenient. Like I wasn't going to be there when you needed me to.
And if you don't go in and pick it up, I got the same text, right? And like,
you get the warnings. It counts down for you.
Yeah, you got one day. And I was like, I don't know. My one day expired like 5 days ago. And they're like, no, you're not up for a renewal.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am up for a renewal.
You just had it filled. They're like,
you missed it.
But you missed the window. So
good luck next 90 days.
That renewal's gone. See you in 90 days.
Yeah, I don't think you understand how this goes. It's supposed to just sits here till I pick it up.
I know. Yeah. I know. Revive just sends me a text every 90 days, and they're like, we're sending you your refill. Are you ready for us to ship it? I hit yes, and then they ship it.
It does seem
easier.
That
was much easier. So you go back. Check your reminders. Get them transferred over. Yeah.
Shoot that email.
Really, really easy.
Send Donaldson an email.
I already have it written. All I had to do was send it. It's but it was already supposed to be picked up. But now I missed it.
It's
it's the hassle. All that in-person hassle. You could do everything virtually and not have to worry about any of that. And then you could be our word of mouth. You could tell everyone about how great it was, how easy it was.
It works.
Will they believe you?
Yeah, I think they'll believe me. It's just it'll be hard for me not to complain about some other version of our insurance.
I found this thing that works, but let's talk about the thing I really
dislike.
Let's talk
about the thing I really hate. Ethan, could you come over here?
Can you come over and we'll talk about health insurance renewals? Yeah. Beth, what haven't we talked about regarding Revive yet that we should mention?
Oh gosh, well, near and dear to my heart, I think the mental health portion.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really an aspect that a lot of people are avoiding today. It's a really high risk situation, and most people cannot get scheduled appointments for 6-7 months with a licensed counselor or a provider. And we partner with a huge EAP. So we have a huge huge network of counselors just waiting to help treat people, and it's all free for them to use, and it's virtually. So that way they can do it from the comfort of their home. They don't have to stress about finding a counselor, putting on a waiting list, and then being seen. But I definitely think mental health is an aspect that more people should be taken advantage of.
But you can also do that in person, right? That's the one that is actually in person if you were so inclined.
Yep.
But again, industry-wise, like our demographic, here we go again. Like it's not something, you just, stay silent and march on. That's what our industry does. Well, it's why the suicide rate is higher in our industry. Yeah, it's why.
It is. It's exactly why. I mean, we're a male-dominated industry of guys who are expected to show up every day and work hard and not complain and act tough. And so
that doesn't lend itself to going to talk to somebody about your feelings.
About your emotions, right? Or how you're feeling or what's going on in your head. And I think that a lot of folks don't like the vulnerability of like trying to make that appointment.
I agree, Brian. A lot of folks don't like that.
Yeah. I know. Well, my husband uses it, and he was another one that's like, I don't know. And I'm like, just call them. It's super easy. You have this like 24/7 number. You get a coordinator right away. And they handheld him and walked him through the process. They got him set up with a counselor. And the first counselor, it wasn't a great match. And that's okay. And he was like, I don't know. Do I have to find a new counselor? Do I have to go through this whole hassle? Because he just avoids all type of care like that. I usually do everything for him. But you have a care coordinator. And the care coordinator is like, that's okay. If it's not working out, let me find you a new counselor. Tell me what you need. Tell me your preferences. Tell me the type of therapy. And they completely set up everything for him. He did not have to worry about a thing. And he got taken care of.
I mean, I would love our guys to take care of that, take advantage of that aspect of it. It's just, transparently, it's so foreign. Like, in other words, I don't know who would have to convince me to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
It's funny because, I don't do it. I have to acknowledge that, and before I say what I say next. But it's something that I personally have really come around to. I think we've had this conversation.
But you don't do it.
I don't do it.
But now it's free.
Yeah. But you acknowledge that it could be a benefit.
I've seen the benefit, even among some of like my, family members, immediate and not immediate, where just having the opportunity to sort of like go to someone who's unbiased and impartial and unload a little bit, and with any regularity, like I've seen it work. So.
I actually use Teledoc for that, but it's just Brian. I just call Brian and just absolutely unload on him about what I'm mad about.
But that's okay. Maybe you just need a person to talk to.
It was a person.
It's a safe space. And that's what they're there for.
Like an hour later, Brian calls me and unloads on me. And then we'll generally say, like, that probably wasn't good for either of us.
You see, we are doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah, we are doing it. We just, and I guess that speaks to, again, in our demographic, we're not suggesting, whether they do or don't, but I think you do it. But it might be, it may be healthier for some of your relationships long term if you weren't venting to the person that you live with. So
no, that's fair.
Maybe,
and it doesn't have to be a crisis situation. It's not like, I have very bad depression or anxiety. It doesn't have to be that type of situation. Maybe you just really want somebody to talk to. Yeah. Just vent it out.
That's what I have Brian for.
I know, but what if you're busy? What if you have something? What if you're stressed about something?
He surely is.
Yeah.
We're going to hear about that later.
Misery loves company.
Yeah.
So.
That's perfect.
No, that's a really good point. I appreciate that. That's probably a fair place to wrap it up. I think we covered a lot. What's really cool is our team internally has had a chance now a couple times to hear some brief snippets about this, to see some presentations about it. We are seeing the success stories, and really looking forward to hearing those successes from our team and seeing the way it works and impacts how they use their healthcare system, and hopefully for the better, right? Hopefully what we found is a product that can impact how our folks access what they need in a more convenient way. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Folks, we hope you got something from this episode, and we hope you come back for another one.